One half of football to go in season 1986. Sandy Bay with the job in front of them. The trendsetters for 13 games find themselves 4 goals down at the start of the second half, but they get a favourable bounce. Bennett to Maxwell. Well caught by Lockley. Tovey puts the Magpies into attack, and Linton, the mark at half forward, and a chance from 40 metres out. Dream start for the Magpies if he can pocket this one. Lovell. Well, Cardinal sin from the Sandy Bay backs. It's always on the cards of Gary Linton that the kick may wobble off the side of the boot or drop short. Lovell to wake up. And from 15 metres. A lot of work to do as far as angle is concerned. Andy Lovell. No mistake. Great start for the Black and Whites. They're 5 goals up. They're delighted. Andy Lovell.
Yeah, so
Gary Super Linton.
So he should be better, because that was an important goal for Glenorchy. Sandy Bay were going to get back into the game. They will have to start this quarter well, and Andy Lovell read that kick from Gary Linton to perfection.
Here he is having a word to his runner, Jeff Cuthbert. I think that'd only be a well done. Keep it up conversation as the big fist of hay greets the ball again. Burns in the way. A vital quarter is the third quarter in any match, and the Magpies have started it brilliantly. Chance for Bowden, gets rid of it in time. Coleman giving him a bit of a hand. And Nielsen to do the bouncing. So at the 40-metre mark, Hayden Nielsen bounces down. Hay. Chance for Nichols, diving on the football. Do it again, Hayden. Play it again, Sam, as the saying goes. That's what Hayden Nielsen will do.
Could be a problem for Glenorchy here if they go back into playing that defensive football. They've got to continue attacking, because that's where they've looked good.
He wins again. Down for Dunne. Weaves and finds Coleman. Player there is Matthew Mansfield underneath it. Free kick's gone the way of vice captain for Glenorchy, Michael Bowden. Linton in front, spoilt by Spalding. Always looking to do a bit of umpiring as well as playing, Gary Linton. No push in the back though. Hay against Bennett, and again number 2 wins out. Crow though for Sandy Bay. Pritchard with Tovey. Good work, Darren Pritchard. Francis the target. Knocked away. Good work from McCann. Keeps it in front of him. And trapped it nicely in there just when it looked as if Fagan might have got it. He does eventually. Ambrose McDonald really didn't go at that 100%. Mundy's pulled down by Dunne. Francis shepherds off for the ball. No Sandy Bay player. Bennett's there eventually. Knock on from McDonald. Fagan has to be quick. Balcombe. Dunne hasn't got it. Thrown down by Crow. Free kick for Glenorchy.
Too many Magpies.
Gee, the Glenorchy tackling's been good too, hasn't it? They've been red hot as far as those tackles are concerned. That's why the Bay are under pressure. Big kick from Dunne. He's looking for Gilham. McDonald throwing himself in. So too Fagan. Gilham. Short one to Hay. Linton in front. Over the back to Grace. Grace likes to use that speed of his. Runs clear. Pass a beauty to Andy Lovell. And whenever the Glenorchy players get the ball at around half forward or the centre, the man in your screen leads out. He's got about 3 or 4 metres on his mates.
A delight to watch this. Andy Lovell again showing what great potential he has.
He's certainly a playmaker. We'll see if he's a goal kicker after this one. Kick from Lovell. Well, he's chalked the goalpost.
Punctured football.
9 points for that. Right on top it landed.
If it had been at the MCG, it would have sat on top of those little baubles that are on top of the goalposts at MCG. Well, they used to have them. little platform as the mark is taken by Burns. Bennett didn't touch it just as well because Mundy had the mark. Too slow, caught by Balcom, stolen by Linton. Pritchard does it beautifully. Too long for Nichols, but he's got plenty of time. Plenty of space as well. Squares off using the non-preferred right boot and finds Smythe. They want this goal, the Seagulls. Chris Smythe. Inside 40 metres. 31 points down, his team. It's there. Can they make it 2 in a row? Follow it up quickly, that's the question.
Youngster Trent Nichols set the example here, running around the boundary line, whereas other teammates have tried to shoot for goal. He squared it off to Chris Smythe, and that's the way that Sandy Bay have to go forward.
Chris Smythe having a bit of a say. Just trying to spur his charges on. There's the bounce down. Dunne. Oh, good handball to Linton. Linton's kick down to the half-forward line. Keating has a chance. Hasn't had a lot of possessions of the footy. This time a good handball to Mundy. He's been a fine player since coming on to Dermody. Dermody to Crow. Here comes Martin. Crashes through that tackle. Then goes short, but bad pass. Dean Coleman cut it off beautifully. That's the way to pass. Look at that for a non-preferred kick. It found its mark in Balcom. Balcom over to Mansfield. Quick handball. There's Grace out there dwelling. Can't get the ball though. Crow chips in to Maxwell. Quick hands to Nichols. He'll do something with it. Back to Maxwell. Umpire's in his way. Lines up from 45 metres out. Slipped over at the wrong time. Minor score.
52 plays 28 now, Sandy Bay. 24 points down. Curley, 70-metre torpedo punt. As usual, Mundy, hands, but no mark. Balcom over the boundary line.
Two Blade players up then, and Glenorchy players were loose on the ground, and they had every opportunity to take the ball away.
Bennett to do the ruck work. He was looking for Nichols over the back, but Linton, gee, I'd like to know his stats. Here goes Grace, a real runner. Out to the man on his own in Bowden. He's been a fine player for the Magpies. Pass a fine 1-2 to Dunne. Dunne at centre half forward. Look at all the Magpies. Well, there was 2 or 3 Magpies all alone at that 40-metre mark. And really one wonders what they've got wrong with them, because not a Bay player was near them. He's kicked one, Rudy Gilham. He's a skillful player. I wouldn't mind betting he'll kick this one. 40 metres out, Gilham kicks. Goal umpire doesn't move. Right through the middle, Rudy's kicked 2.
Rudy didn't have to be too skillful to get that ball, because no one went within bull's roar of him. Gilham completely on his own around the centre half forward position. That's been the Magpie story all day, that their forwards have continually got on their own. It's just a lack of concentration by the Sandy Bay defenders.
Magpies by 5 goals.
Seagulls in a game where goals have been at a premium need to do something quickly now. Hay wins it again. Klug feinted the handball, went the pass instead. Spalding backs his judgment, does it well. Pearce, oh, brilliantly, weaves through Houdini-like. Almost the mark down there. It's done, now looks up to the umpire, but didn't have it for long enough. Free kick goes the way of Keating. To the northern side, Crow, the small man against 2. Really, that wasn't intelligent football. Behind play, Crow has been reported. He seemed to stand on top of Tim Tovey.
Wasn't a bad little short jab, neither.
Well, that's 3 Sandy Bay players, let's say, with their names in the book. Could be 4. Perhaps there might be 1 Magpie as well.
Have a look at this, Peter, for a short punch.
It's been a 15-metre penalty. Don't think we quite got
Too quick for the cameras.
15 metres closer to goal, Tim Tovey. Wrong side. It's 31 points. Crow hanging his head a touch. Tovey doesn't seem unduly concerned.
The 4 reports might be a sign of Sandy players failing to come to terms with the pressure of a grand final.
And Crow is being dragged.
Not the nicest thing to happen either in a grand final, especially as the big kick out comes from the Bay out to Keating. All overrun the football. Keating comes back on it. Finds Nichols. Over to Bennett. Bennett back to Nichols. He's one player that's not scared to make the play. Kick. Well, Dean Coleman, fine mark. Played on to Hay. Hay in the centre of the ground. They go short to Klug. Once again, the Magpies starting to drift out into open spaces, looking for Gilham. Well, would have paid that mark. Unpaid. Burns out to Keating again. It's the desperation of the Magpies diving on the football. 2 big fellows, Klug and Gilham. Maxwell gets away with it though. And fine smother Magpies to Lockley. Out to Danny Ling, bounce unkind. Ling on his left boot. Parsons copped one high. And really the sirens were sounding then, weren't they, as Dermody threw himself on it and nearly pushed it down the race. The Magpies 31 points clear.
Bennett down for Keating, well caught, but gets off to Dolliver. To Linton, popped one, but has the football. Not infected unduly. Pearce comes in. All flew the Seagulls. Dunne feeds off. Lockley goals. Well, they look rattled in defence. Sandy Bay all flying, no talking, plenty of talking and cheering there though. The Magpie fans ecstatic. Their team 37-point leaders.
Every reason to be happy because, as you mentioned there, Peter, there was a great pack of players up. Lyndon Lockley summing up the situation perfectly, waited for where the ball had to come, and that was to the ground.
Here's the scoreline, 65 playing 28 it is. Klug dominating in the centre, kicks long. Here goes Pearce. Parsons, the ball goes under his leg. Tackle on by Lovell. Ross Burns not too happy about proceedings. I don't blame him either, because the Bay certainly have not played well. But then again, they haven't been let play well by the Magpies, who really have taken this game away. There's Martin trying to get it to open spaces. He does to Pritchard. Again, the tackle on by the Magpie, Tovey.
Quite a disappointing player, Darren Pritchard, Jim.
He's done a couple of good things, hasn't he? But has not been consistent today.
Same with all the Bay players.
I was going to say, he's got a lot of friends. Brilliant bounce. Big punch by Bennett. It's again all the Magpies. They kick to the half-forward line. Here goes Bill Dunne. We'll see what he can do. Swings round onto the right boot. Cleverly across to Lovell. Lovell lines up quickly. He's got to do it. And a bit too quick into the minor score. 9-12, 66 to 3-10, 28.
Telling Shepard in there from Mansfield as Burns is wearing one above the left eye. There's always support from black and white players. Lockley up high, almost got it on the rebound. Fagan has to just kick blindly. It was off the hands, so not out on the full. Well, has to come back from Ryde Street. .66 playing 28. Glenorchy looking very safe at this stage. Not just by the scoreline, but the way Sandy Bay are playing.
What about the way that Glenorchy players have teamed together? They're shepherding, and which is considered probably old-fashioned by a lot of the modern football thinkers, has been magnificent today.
There's Lockley. Pearce. Forward. The crowd thought that he didn't have it. On hands and knees, Mundy just couldn't inch to it. Lovely tap back there from Seddon. Mundy for Francis. Handball's out wide. Pritchard. Just to try and screw it back for Johnson. It's over his head. Nichols runs onto it. Trent Nichols will do up that left boot. Had the break on Balcom there.
Very seldom there's been that much space in the Sandy Bay forward line, Peter.
Interchange player, Sandy Bay, Trent Nichols, going for his first goal. Sandy Bay have only kicked 3 for the afternoon. It stays that way. 6 goals, 1 is the lead Glenorchy hold halfway through the third quarter.
And in your screen, Roland Curley. Just coolly stands, delivers to Ling. And then continues running. Great play, Curley. Out to Klug. Klug's played a crackerjack game, Royce.
Been brilliant, he has, whether on the ball or on the forward line.
Oh, brilliant sidestep by Lockley. Pass equally as good to Gilham. Gilham can't mark it though, but the strong man Linton's giving him a hand. Well, Keating saw that white line and quickly shot the hand into the footy and found it. They'll be a bit unlucky, the Magpies, not to get the penalty. Bennett, handball to Martin. It's going to be Maxwell's mark. It is. Tim Maxwell from the wing. Johnson in front. Can't take the mark. Coleman. Here goes Nichols. A real trier for the Bay since coming on. Oh, Coleman cleverly mopping up. A good handball to Mansfield. Mansfield's pass out to Gilham. Gilham in front of Burns. Turns on a sixpence. Fires forward. Pearce over the back. Well, you could predict that mark because David Pearce certainly had the sit for it. And doesn't he love to come in with a run up at the football? Have a look at this man from behind. David Pearce goes straight through the middle of the pack. Takes another beauty. He's kicked 1. David Pearce lines up for number 2. You can hear the crowd. The Magpies love it. They hit double figures for goals. 10-12, 72 to 3-11-29.
The kick forward by Rudy Gilham. Brilliant ball control there by the big man. Is an educated one because it allowed Pearce space to run into the thing. Instead of kicking it straight to Pearce, relax height, he kicked it well out in front, and David Pearce ran in and took a fine mark.
And Dean Coleman, down ground, can take a big part in that goal. He went for the mark initially, knocked it forward, kept chasing. And he was the one that got it moving forward for Glenorchy. See if Sandy Bay can answer. Keating. Smythe perhaps spoiled a bit there by Francis, and cool as you like. Coleman to Dykes, to Klug, to Bowden. To goal he'll go. But only bring up a minor.
Deserved better than that, Peter. That was magnificent play by John Klug. A good 30 metres handball.
Scoreline up for the first time today. They've had some problems with it. And the Bay have had a lot of problems with the Magpies. Ambrose McDonald. Just about his first grab for the day for Ambrose. Kick short to the leading Smythe. Well, 2 Bay players go for Hay. Forget about the footy. Seddon's grabbed high. By Hayden Nielsen.
Doing good mummy impersonations there.
I was trying to think what he was doing. We'll call it the mummy impersonation. Get the flannel out and go round and round. You can see quite a few players around that centre bounce. Seddon takes the tap. Fagan's the kicker to Francis. Francis about 60 metres out, goes short to Johnson. Robbie Johnson hasn't kicked a goal to date. He kicked 6 last time the two teams met. In fact, he's got 1. And he was a real match winner in the second semi-final. He'll desperately want this one. It's the drop punt kick from Johnson. Goal umpire doing a bit of work. But there's the Bay goal, and they need that and about 4 or 5 more in quick succession. 4-11 Sandy Bay, Glenorchy 10-13.
Good play by Michael Francis. Instead of kicking blind, he looks for Robbie Johnson near the 40-metre line. Johnson makes no mistake, it was Sandy Bay's 4th goal.
I think they've perhaps made the mistake of watching Robbie Johnson take those big grabs in the second semi-final. You can't take them all the time. You have to have them delivered a bit more often like that to him.
Yes, with Chris Smythe also. Hit the nail right on the head.
Tovey. Here comes Keating with the fists. McDonald 38 with Exel number 11 on for Glenorchy. Fagan, loose man on here for the Seagulls. Nichols onto the favoured left boot. Chips it for Mundy. Too many Magpies. Balcombe, heaps of time. Gets shepherding from Coleman. Fagan had to wait what would have been an eternity for him underneath that one. Lead made by Seddon. Oh, Curley arriving in the nick of time. (73-35), huge job in front of Sandy Bay.
Dunne does the rucking. Exel in the headgear. We haven't seen him in that for season 1986 as Lockley comes off the ground. It's Lyndon Lockley, one of the last goal kickers for the Magpies. As we see a bounce down at centre half forward. Here goes McDonald. Kick on the left boot, not a bad one. Johnson and Dykes 2 out. Ball beats them all. And Dykes, I think, quite happy to see that go over the line.
Johnston seemed to collapse there under an ankle. And I think he's hit his head on the concrete and has perhaps knocked himself out.
Not looking too fit, is he?
Well, he hasn't moved.
Just have a look at this again. Unfortunate incident.
Just goes over on that left ankle. And didn't seem to hit his head too hard on the concrete, so perhaps it was just the ankle, but it was a...
Well, he's gaining consciousness now by the looks of things. I think he's a sick and sorry fellow and might not remember much of what's happening here.
Oh,
That's what happened. He got the backhander from Robbie Dykes. Perfect shot then by the cameraman. They don't miss much, do they?
No, I was watching his feet. Wrist what was going on up top.
That was purely accidental, Peter. No blame can be laid with Robbie Dykes for that.
Feels the back of the head as well, so perhaps he did come down on the concrete. He copped it from 3 directions as Crow comes off. Here's Sorrell having a word in his shell like. And that came off the boot of Linton and a free kick to Sandy Bay. Pritchard with the bonus on half forward. 6 goals, 2 behind the Seagulls. Mundy left on his own. Will he square it off or have a go from a very acute angle? Distance no problem. Favours the right boot. And the breeze has dropped a little bit. And a bad effort from Mundy, just the wrong side. 6 goals, 1 is the Glenorchy lead.
It was unbelievable on the Sandy Bay forward line there. There was not one other option for John Mundy to kick to.
Stephen Hay took the mark. Also was going to, I think, fire with the fist, but saw it was John Mundy and perhaps thought it would just bounce off. Short pass, a good one though to Exel. Having a word to McDonald, then playing on. Exel to the centre of the ground and mark for Nichols.
Sandy Bay's best player.
And back behind play, Exel has gone down. Ambrose McDonald has been reported, well, number 2, I'd say, for the day.
Setting the fly. Well, nearly a great mark. Cleared, people going down like 9 pins here as McDonald comes through. Handballs to Fagan. Holding the ball's the result.
Advantage played. Balcombe to Grace. Gilham. Ling the rover. Didn't bounce nicely for him. Gilham's too slow. Crowd thought penalty should have been applied there. It's ended up with the Seagulls anyway. Maxwell. Grace wouldn't have gone the distance. Doesn't matter. Klug on the favoured right boot. Behind. And Kim Exel very sick and sorry being taken off. The same goes for Michael Seddon, who dived in. The one he copped was accidental. The one Kim Exel copped wasn't. Hay with Martin. Misunderstanding with Spalding. Allows Mansfield in. Goes towards Hay, who couldn't move. He's holding his ankle. Meanwhile, a free kick from Mansfield. Walking wounded down there. Lovell outmarked by Francis. The forward is a backman all of a sudden. Desperation stakes for the Seagulls. Then Tim Maxwell at centre half back.
Well, Maxwell was having a look to play on. Danny Ling made sure he didn't. So Tim Maxwell to take a kick from centre half back as we tick into the time on period. Kick straight down the centre. Smythe in good position. Here goes Nichols. He's got space. Kick not a good one. And rolls over the line. And really, as you can see, Kim Exel being walked off the ground. He's had an unlucky trot, hasn't he?
Well, because of his head guard, they were calling him Joe Bugner out at training the other night. His comeback hasn't lasted as long as Joe's.
There goes Smythe, trying to get the Bay back into the game. Can't do it. It's been all the Magpies, and that really has been the story of the day. Magpies everywhere. Dykes streams off half-back. Big kick to the wing. Ricky Dolliver in the way. Dolliver's torpedo punt kick again into a nest of Magpies. Here goes Coleman. Good handball out to Webster coming on the ground. Webster's kick a beauty. Looking for Klug. Oh, John Klug. Not paid. Plays on. Here goes Lovell. Lovell, big chance then to gather the ball, but the bounce unkind. The minor score.
Makes you wonder why John Klug wasn't given a go in the VFL when you see play like that.
Bennett really has to pull something out of the bag now and inspire as he goes across to Spalding. Lovell's the chaser. Seddon's come on at the interchange bench. Spoiled, but Mansfield recovers. In comes Klug. Easy as you like for John Klug. What you were saying, Royce, really sums it up. He wasn't given a go, full stop, in VFL senior ranks. It really takes a big occasion to bring the best out of John Klug, and hasn't he done it today? Going for number 3. And getting it. Glenorchy look home at the 27-minute mark of the third term. A lead of 7 goals, 3, and all Magpie fans like it.
Summing up John Klug's performance in just 3 words, he's just too good. That occasion there, perfectly positioned to take the mark, and kicks Glenorchy's 11th goal, his 3rd.
So look at that scoreline too, 11-16 to 4-12. And the underdogs look like they might get up. Down to Crow. The forward line really has been in tatters for Bay. And he's part of the reason why. Mark Bowden. Quite achiever on the back line. Kicks long to Dunne. Nearly paid the mark. Ball still in play. Well, not the prettiest of sights, I suppose.
Looked like a jigsaw puzzle.
Finally untangled, and the piece is given to umpire Dawson to sort out. 11-15, playing 4-12. Bounce down. Here goes Martin. Martin showing his wares on his left boot. Again has a look, and there's nobody up the forward line. Linton with strength just barges through a couple of players, then kicks to the centre. Chance for Pritchard. Got a lot of skill, has time to have a look upfield. Big kick, but again it's all the Magpies. Well, Royce Hart, you assistant coach at Richmond, coached Footscray. If you're a coach of Sandy Bay now, what would you do?
The same thing I did with Footscray. Left.
Ball's on half forward for Sandy Bay. Martin from 40 metres out. He's got it. 6 goals, 3 is the task that confronts Sandy Bay with just a little bit over a quarter left of the grand final for 86.
One player that Sandy Bay do need firing is Tony Martin, and he's had a good year, and his final series hasn't been that hot, but a goal like that might spark up some good form.
The Magpies by nearly double the Bay score. There's Tony Martin, the goal kicker for the Bay. Nichols, played a great game since coming on. Oh, bit of a push in the back. Smythe made it obvious, perhaps too obvious. And the mark to Coleman. Out to Curley. Oh, good tackle in by Pritchard to Crow. Crow on his left boot. Here comes Maxwell. McCann in the way boat. There's a lot of open spaces there on the Glenorchy back line. Kicks out to the scoreboard side of the ground. And Stephen Grace quite happy to let the ball over the line. Peter G, there was your brother waving to you, I think. Waving frantically. And at three-quarter time, there's the scoreline, 11-15 to 5-12. The Magpies in the lead.
9 points down to Sandy Bay, going from left to right. Francis fired up, but nowhere to go. Umpire Nielsen to do it all over again. A huge task in front of the grand final favourites. Let's see what they're made of. Mundy wrapped up by Klug. That's been the story all day. Volley from Tovey. Keating for Sandy Bay. Falls in a hole. Linton goes through it. Handball's on for Lovell. In the square is Pearce. It's hit the post. 40 points. Glenorchy lead by 30 seconds into the final term.
That goes Spalding to the tiered side, looking for Mundy. Well, John Klug's played a magnificent game all day. Gets trodden on. All over his back was Johnny Mundy. It's quite a weight to have on your back too. As Klug goes short, the leading Pearce in front of Parsons. Started off easy. Finished very hard as Pearce took it on his fingertips. He's kicked 2 goals in a game which hasn't been a very high-scoring game. We've got a good angle of David Pearce coming in to kick. Here's number 3. Looks okay. What a way to start the last quarter. This will be the Magpies flag for 86 in the Cascade Bowden lead. 12-16 to 5-12. Pearce, you kick 3.
John Klug chips over the top to the 40-metre line to the leading David Pearce. And from that position, there's been a lot of goals missed today, and David Pearce was able to read the wind perfectly.
So the 2 men involved there, Pearce and Klug. 3 goals each. And Glenorchy, well, have they put the nail in the Sandy Bay coffin? Bennett. Waiting behind is Crow, got hands to it. Dykes. Webster. Wicked bounce, but he's got back up from Curley. McDonald does it nicely. Pass is too high for Seddon. Oh, a misunderstanding between Balcom and Coleman. Lets Crow in. He's going for the goals down at Queenborough, I think.
That's when they shift the goals to that angle, I think.
Balcom hands off to McCann. The minder takes it up to the wing to Klug. He's got a loose man in Linton. Away goes the Magpie machine. Linton up for Pearce with Parsons. Flicks it back in, Pearce. Lovell gets some good shepherding from Dunne. Andy Lovell. Well, that deserved to be capped up for the goal. It's not even bothered the scorer. Still 88 playing 42. We've played 3 minutes last quarter.
Dolliver must be having a run on the ball. He was in the back pocket taking the kick. A magnificent kick by Dolliver. Covers the best part of 65 to 70 metres. Francis on his left boot. Now towards Grace. Grace traps it. Tennis style towards Lockley. Oh, Francis, very well done. Handball to Crow. Crow out to Nichols. He's just about Sandy Bay's best player, and he's only played a couple of quarters. To Pritchard. Pritchard's got a lot of skill. Kicks from the 40-metre mark. Oh, hits the post. So the boat can't take a trick. As Darren Pritchard lopes back to the wing.
They actually worked that ball round well, with Trent Nichols smart enough to kick the ball back into the centre of the ground to allow Pritchard that shot for goal.
McCann for Webster. Mundy. Chris Fagan from 40 metres, goes for home and gets it. 4 minutes gone. Well, you can see 6 goals, 3 is the difference. Fagan's first. Can it set the Seagulls away?
A little bit better teamwork and system there from Sandy Bay, allowing Chris Fagan to kick that goal. And surprising in a game such as this that Chris Fagan has only kicked 1 goal, because normally he loves a goal.
Well, he is just coming off. Really, if I was the Bay after kicking that goal, I would have said stay on, see if you can kick a few more. The bounce down. Adel Ling. He doesn't find him though. But Lockley coming through. To Johnson. Just shrugged off it by Klug. Well, great vision by Klug. Didn't even look, it appeared. To Webster, to Dykes. Dykes long to Dunne. And the Magpies fluent when they move the footy. Dunne will just about kick this. 40 metres out, goes short to Linton. And Linton having a bit of a chat to Pritchard. He's got the ball 35 metres out. He says it's his last TFL football match. He's played pretty well today, though. I think the Glenorchy Brains Trust will be trying to get him to play again as Linton kicks for goal. And kicks a minor score. 50 points in front of the Magpies, and it looks like they're flagged.
Parsons, low for Nichols. Nice hands. He was moving at a rate of knots, still brought it down. Francis, doubling back as Crow. He arrives now with the football. Oh, took 1 step, but they've... Oh, well.
He played on credit.
But they've let players get away with that today. There's been a few who have taken 1 step and been caught. It hasn't been penalised. Magpies to the centre, Grace to Klug. Grace runs past, Klug goes 40 metres back to Curley. Means they've got an extra man up forward in Grace. He's there now trying to back up Bowden. Johnston against Klug, who uses the body well and then holds the ball in. Bounce on the right street wing.
Looking at Trent Nichols in that recent passage of play reminds me of a young Barry Cable, the way he handled the ball.
The bounce. Here he goes.
Same colours.
That was Nichols looking for Maxwell. Maxwell getting up quickly, having a bit of a chat to the umpire. Got to take that aggression out on the pigskin as we see the throw in. 5 and 2. Hay has run well today. To Francis. Over to Tovey. Oh, just stolen from him from Pritchard. Curley to Webster. Webster now long to the half-forward line. Dunne against Dermody. Nobody wins out. 2 Bay players down there. Well, too slow, Scott Parsons. Well, should have been holding the ball. Great tackle then by Bowden. And perhaps a lucky let-out for the Seagulls. Scoreline 89 playing 49. Starting to shine now in the closing boom.
Dunne thumps out to half forward. Lovell spoons out to Webster. Whistle has gone for a throw.
It's been very difficult for the umpire to play that decision because he's on the blind side of Andy Lovell.
Webster, I think, kicked the goal as well. To no avail, but they're 40 points up, the Magpies. Spalding out for Maxwell. Acrobatically takes it. They have to get it moving quickly. Hay. Ling against 2. Does it well, loses the, doesn't worry the cockroach. Up he goes for Lovell or Klug. So many options up forward for Glenorchy. Back in the centre. Attention of the crowd taken by a little skirmish. Meanwhile, Klug lines up for number 4 from 35 metres. Behind. 41-point lead for Glenorchy.
Scott Parsons now. See what he can do with the football. Doesn't really know which way to go. Decides to go straight down the centre. Bit of a nudge in the back. Chance for the speedsters. Maxwell first to the football. Kick smothered. Allows Crow in. Oh, good pick-up by Crow. He's got an open goal in front of him. Kick from Peter Crow. A minor score.
Very selfish.
Yes, it was, because Robbie Johnson was running into that open space. Chris Smythe was running into the open space. It was a perfect setup.
Coleman to Dunne. Sitting on your back, Billy. Well, perhaps Crow thought, look, I need to do something inspiring here. It certainly would have been a team-lifting goal. Francis down for Johnston. Smythe against Coleman. Coleman punches to Seddon. He feints and misses.
Really, that's the story of the Sandy Bay's forward setup. They haven't really finished off, and they've been kicking under pressure all day.
This is McCann now. Going to the Ride Street side of the ground. The runner out there's Curley. Puts his head down and takes off after the football. Good Shepherd then. Allows Francis in. Back to Maxwell. Back to Francis on his favoured left boot. Kicks from an angle. The big flyers, Dykes. He drags down a teammate in Linton. Another minor score. So the Bay are attacking, but doing it in singles.
It's a little bit like the second term when all play was between the goal square and the centre. And Sandy Bay's forward line, but they're unable to convert. Curley, casual as you like, up to the centre square line. Coleman. Heaps of time. Out for Grace to Bowden. Pick up from Burns. Thought about swinging play to the northern wing. Down the middle he goes now. Bennett has to play on. Well, he finally does. Into the pocket for Francis. He really hasn't fired at all today, Michael Francis, but battles on against huge odds. Tovey and Linton have him well and truly parcelled up. And that's frustration because there's never a free kick there. Umpire Nielsen has copped worse than that, I suppose. In his second TFL Grand Final.
Bounce, not a bad one. Curley the rucker. Chance for Mundy. Handballs to Johnson, lining up from 45 metres out. Ball goes well to the left. In fact, over the line on the full. So the Bay peppering the goals. Seem to be just running out of steam because of that pressure applied by the Magpies. Good mark though to Francis. We'll see what he can do. They've had all the play for the last 5 minutes. Michael Francis in the screen from 35 metres. It's the drop punt kick. Another minor.
6-6-17 is a poor score for Sandy Bay, and some of those goals really should have been hammered home because they were fairly easy shots.
37-point lead for Glenorchy, 12-minute mark of the last quarter. Webster Shepherd's off nicely for Grace. Bowden won't get there in time. Ross burns the mark. Nichols yelling for it on this northern wing on his own. The pass is appalling. Webster. Ling to the unmarked Klug. Lovell's on his own now. Not paid. Lucky not to be punished there, Sandy Bay.
Yes, both John Klug and Andy Lovell were well by themselves, and here we see the intention of John Klug, right? Wasn't far off a mark there by Andy Lovell.
Looks like he was trying to bury himself too. Here goes Pearce trying to bury the Seagulls. If he kicks this goal, he doesn't. Over the line on the full. Andy Bennett covering plenty of territory in the last quarter. Goes across goals to Pritchard. Pritchard, not a good pass. Spalding makes it look good. Well, bounced off Burns. Out now to Keating. Keating down to the forward flank. The leader is Margotts, and he's the marker.
Haven't seen him for a while.
He's been AWOL, hasn't he, as Margotts, as he kicks now to half forward. Over the back was Martin. Skillfully gets away onto his left boot. Two Bay players. Francis this time takes the mark. Player running short was Parsons, but he kicked over the line. Well, you can see him hanging his head. And that might have been with the pasting that Scotty Parsons gave him, because he was in the box seat then to run into an open goal.
Gilham on the ball. Grace to Linton. Bennett. Must play on this time. Martin. Might think he's got to do it all on his own here, Tony Martin. Nichols, two bearing down on him. Tovey through the legs of Martin, but back up from Dolliver. Webster got a kick off the ground. Bowden goes for the boundary line. Much to the delight of the black and white terraces. Big crowd here at North Hobart, and the Magpie part of it ecstatic at the moment. 37-point leaders are the black and whites. Back-to-back premierships looking, well, a certainty for Danny Ling's men.
They're a tired team too, aren't they? They've given their all today for the back-to-back premierships. As you can see them just drag themselves up from the ground. Hands on hips, go back into the position and allow Nielsen to start. On Monday, the ruck work. Big punch over to Pritchard. Pritchard's wobbly old punt kick in the Linton direction. Here goes Linton, loves to fend off a player, and he does it well. Out to Bowcom. Bowcom on the back flank. Clears to the wing to Klug. Ball too far in front of Klug. Couldn't reach it. And we'll see another throw in at the 15-minute mark. That's the Magpies by 47 points. Make that 37.
Bennett on into the shoulder of Rudy Gilham, and he looks resigned to defeat Andy Bennett.
Hasn't he done a good job, Rudy Gilham? Not only has he played well on the forward line, but his work when contesting against the big players has been very effective for Glenorchy.
Kicked the first goal of the day for the Magpies, set them on the way. Pearce, perhaps spoiled by teammates there. He's recovered beautifully. Oh, David Pearce, magical! Very reminiscent of a goal he kicked at KG5 5 or 6 weeks ago. Watch this.
Rudy Gilham to centre half forward. Pearce could have nearly been paid this mark, but kept his eyes on the ball, recovered beautifully. You won't find a better recovery goal than that one.
And that's David Pearce, his 4th goal. He's the major goal kicker in this grand final. And really, when you add up his goals in grand finals, he's kicked the bag. Always kicks goals in grand finals. Today, no exception. Oh, Bennett handed the ball then to Nichols. Well, the Magpies, though, again, Linton. Dolliver. Trying to break clear. I think he wanted to play on if he found the spot. He didn't. So now goes back for the kick. Out to McDonald. McDonald takes the mark and gets the cheers. A fierce man is Ambrose McDonald. Down to the forward line. The leaper was set and can't mark it. Watch Grace run away. He does it to Tovey. Oh, fine spoil from Martin. Tovey back onto it, recovered very well. Handball, not a good one. In comes Tony Martin. Kicks from 35 metres out. The Bayer found the opening. Great solo effort, Tony Martin. That's his 2nd and the Bay's 7th. 7-17 to 13-18. There it is on the screen.
One of the few mistakes here by the Glenorchy defenders. Tim Tovey shoots out the hand pass, meant for Danny Ling. Good anticipation by Tony Martin. Nails it from 30 metres out.
And the Seagull contingent, even that goal, not enough to keep them in league headquarters. I bet every black and white supporter will stay to the end and savour every second of it. Gilham leaps over Maxwell, twists and turns, kicks for Tovey. Dolliver, good gather. Maxwell goes back into a pack, and luckily he got one around the neck.
Very lucky he ducked into that, Tim Maxwell.
Told to play on by Dolliver. There's a 15-metre penalty anyway. Maxwell up high, looking for a big mark. Mundy can snap now. Handballs instead for Francis. Where's he going? Well, he's got the goal eventually. Took plenty of work. Michael Francis, his first of the day, and it comes up at the 18-minute mark of the last quarter.
I suppose he knew what he was doing here, Michael Francis, because I felt he had the opportunity to handball out to Trent Nichols, running away from goal. Nichols in the right position there. Francis turns onto his left. That's another goal to Sandy Bay.
So the Magpies by 31 points as Fagan coming on for Mundy. Francis again's going to be the flyer. Coming down for Dykes, cleans up well to Tovey. Tovey, 60-metre kick, finds the crowd. Supermark then by that bespectacled and bearded fellow. Might bring him on in a blue and white jumper. Short pass was looking for Seddon. Didn't find him, over the line again. 96 playing 65, about 10 minutes to go in the 86 grand final. And Bennett takes the free kick, and I don't know what that was for, Royce.
No, it's hard to work it out, but at least Sandy Bay's got control of the ball.
Dolliver bombs one into the forward line. The flyer Dykes holds up proceedings.
How sweet this win will be for the likes of Robbie Dykes, Gary Linton, Danny Ling, of course, the veterans of the Glenorchy side.
And what about Bushead Woodham on the boundary?
Well, a lot of those men perhaps playing their last game or being involved with the last Glenorchy premiership. What a way to go out. Klug will do it all over again. He's played his part, 3 goals, and so has Lyndon Lockley. Webster, first game of the season, is the grand final. He's done his part. Ian Lockley just playing with the opposition at the moment. Pritchard high over the top of Gilham. A tired, disconsolate Ambrose McDonald. We'll have to visit the tribunal tonight after the grand final. Not a prospect he would be looking forward to or have thought much about during the week. Other 38, Grace to the pocket. Burns, good mark.
There goes Spalding. Those two always work in tandem well together. Back to Dermody, now back to Burns. They're in trouble, the Bay. Oh, look at that, too much handball can get you into trouble, even though coaches like it. But it got the Bay into a ton of trouble.
Couldn't do anything about it, Jim. There were 4 Glenorchy players out here in the wing, and there was not one Sandy player who had made the effort to get into a position to receive.
The bounce by Nielsen. Finds the fist of Bennett. Dolliver trying with strength to get through the packs. Holding the hip is Rudy. They might be reshaping that bandage, Pete.
Have to extend it up a little higher. I'm sure he'll feel no pain tonight.
There's the bounce down. Fine bounce. Over to Burns. The claret flowing from the left eye of Burns. And I think claret will be flowing from this man's lips tonight too. He's played a cracker game as Linton goes short. Good pass to Klug. John Klug, I think, might be saying, I'll do a bit of play acting here.
Looks like he's in the Russian ballet there, Jim. Played a great game.
There wouldn't be too many more cumbersome looking ballet artistes than John Klug. Cumbersome he may look, but everything today he's done so easily, except kick that goal. Plenty of distance. Bill Dunne enjoying it down there. Klug's contribution, 3 goals, 1 for the afternoon as far as goal kicking is concerned.
Strange sight, Andy Bennett kicking in.
32 points down, Sandy Bay. They've played 3 minutes into the last term. Seddon for the Seagulls has his handball intercepted by Webster. Gilham pushes Dermody out.
At Dermody, Looks like a man with a bad stutter as he's going backwards and forwards. Now delivers to the centre of the ground. Balcom nearly swallowed it. Out to Webster. Good to see Webster back in TFL ranks. Kicks long to Dunne. And Dunne takes the mark. Had a look to see if any black and whites were in good position. Saw that they weren't, so said I'll go back and have a shot myself. He's kicked one. And really, this will just put the final nail in the Sandy Bay coffin if he kicks truly. Kick from Bill Dunne. Right through the middle. That's the ball game. And look at that Glenorchy crowd. They can sense victory. 8-17 to 14-19. And really, the Magpies have deserved this one.
Billy Dunne hasn't been as brilliant as what he was last week, but his game nevertheless has been very serviceable. And here he takes the mark on his own at the 40-metre line. That's Glenorchy's flag for 1986.
Gilham. Nichols paddles out for McDonald. Nichols thought about putting the left boot into it there, but McDonald was over the top of it. Gilham's handball to Bennett. Martin now. Leave it, says Robbie Johnston to Chris Fagan. Johnston from 40 metres has kicked two. Just to add some respectability to the Sandy Bay score. Wrong side, Robbie Johnston 2-3 for the afternoon, and the finishing of Sandy Bay, well, certainly not worthy of a grand final or what we would have expected from a team who've won 13 in a row.
Roland Curley, the big kick out to the wing position. Pritchard and Tovey. Tovey, the gentle nudge, takes the mark. And look at Timmy Woodham just giving a pat on the head to Lyndon Lockley. And they'll love this moment. Kick from Tovey down to Dolliver. Dolliver to the sprinting Francis. Francis long. Johnson can go up over the back. Oh, super mark though from that Magpie, and that was Curley. Courage then from Curley. The kick a good one too. Over to Klug. Klug straight down the centre of the ground, right into the arms of Keating.
We're into time on by 30 seconds. Keating towards Parsons. Francis feeds off to Seddon, wrapped up. Tried to sock up. Keeps going, Seddon, but has got no support. Coleman, what a game he's played, to Mansfield. This will bounce over the head of Keating. Better judgment from Danny Ling, though Keating had to attack at the backman. Webster trying to set Hay away. He pushes down Dermody. Well, half back, a free kick with the Seagull.
To Bennett, Bennett to Spalding. Spalding now long. He's looking for Fagan. Make that Maxwell. Maxwell the better recovery, but I don't know why he turned back into the pack. Maybe he was looking for that. So ducked his head, and he's done that a couple of times today, Royce, and the umpires have given him the benefit of the doubt.
Yes, although in general the umpires have done a great job in the grand final. I think we should give credit where credit's due.
Sure, great job from both umpires, Nielsen and Dawson. That was a great mark too from Seddon in front.
He's been quiet after quarter time, Jim. Played very well the first quarter, but has faded out of the game completely.
He was a big contributor, wasn't he, in the first quarter? Undoubtedly Sandy Bay's best player. But like a lot of players, did not have a good second and third quarter. Started to come into it, though, in the last. Lining up for what might be the Bay's ninth. It is, but really it's only a boiled sweet for the Bay, and I doubt if Andy Bennett will be handing out his jelly beans today, because that takes the Bay to 9-18, trailing by 14-19.
Exactly the place you should be playing from in front. Michael Seddon running across the front of the pack there. Reduces the Glenorchy lead to 30 points, to 31 points, but they've still been clearly the superior side.
Still plenty of noise from their contingent. Relishing the moment. Bennett up to Maxwell. Martin has to go back now onto the right boot. In comes Curley. Roland Curley. He played in this game in 78 when the Seagulls were victorious. He perhaps, well, I won't say more than any other, enjoying it immensely today. but he's played a huge part, as has Klug. Easy as you like to Webster. Mike Webster perhaps could have gone on and had a shot. Besides, he'll have one from the standing start instead. 28 minutes gone. Webster up to the line. Gilham hooks it through for a behind. 32-point lead. Flipper Floyd there, the goal umpire, officiating in his last game. He's goal umpired in 725 league matches. His 8th grand final. What a superb performance from one of the real characters of football. But it's been a demolition of Sandy Bay by Glenorchy that he's witnessed, with about 17 or 18,000 others here at league headquarters.
Francis took the mark, goes straight down the centre to Dolliver. Dolliver, there's the siren, and it's a Magpie victory, and what a victory it was. 14-20, 104 for Sandy Bay, 9-18, 72.
Right, can we...
As he finds Adams. Scott Adams has kicked 2.